I've been able to do that. Good morning.
Good morning.
I am glad to see you here. I have a privilege that not many of you enjoy, and that is, well, it's actually twofold. On Sunday morning when I have occasion to be up front, I get to look at all these smiling, beautiful faces. That's the advantage of being up front. But I also sit in the back during the presentation of the sermon on Sunday morning. And
that's beautiful.
You all know that Diana has difficulty with handling the juice. When the trays come around, I notice that some of you are bowing your head for a moment of prayer. Don't you kid me. I know you're praying, God, please don't let me drop this juice all over the floor. I know because that's my prayer very often. But he was helping Diana with the juice. And then I also have the privilege. See those windows in the back? The young people are out there. And when the men come up to give the Lord's Supper, the kids come in quietly, quickly, and respectfully. And they stand in the back. You don't get to see that. I do. Okay. Thank you very much for adding those. I sent those to him at the very last minute. Thank you for adding them. Last week, a tradition was broken. For 5 years or so when we have left church, Renee has said to me, what June Hope preach on this morning? And my answer was, sin. And Renee's stop question was, what do you have to say about sin? My answer was, well, you seem to be pretty much against it. Last week when she asked me that last question, I was able to say he was unequivocally, undeniably, and completely against the sin of misplacing your vote. There are still indentions on this speaker's podium where his fist went into it. He was emphatic. I thought at one point, I better go up there and hand the man my soapbox. Now, those of you who do not or have not seen my soapbox, you know I can't get up on one. Back in the hills of Arkansas, small towns, country preachers often came into town on Saturday. They had three things. They had a Bible, they had their speaker stand, and they had a soapbox. Well, since I can't get on one, this is the best I can do. So for those of you who have never seen me, been here when I've spoken before, if I get this out, call ahead, cancel lunch plans because I'm on the stem winder. So I'll try my best to control myself. When we first become a Christian, we are probably the purest that we will ever be. We are at that point where all the sin has been wiped from our body. It's out of our heart, and there's nothing between us and the cross. However, not long after that, things start to creep back in. Our old lifestyle has a pull on us that will remain for the rest of our lives. We need a compass. Now, this type of compass has been used since before Jesus was born. It's not as perfect as some of the newer ones, but if you hold it flat, it will get you there. We all need that kind of compass. Most of us have a tendency to believe that Jesus' ministry was in the southern part of Israel. If you will go on to number 6, please. That's the Holy Land top portion. And he was at Capernaum at the time he said that. Does everybody have a Bible? If you do not, now is the time we will get you one. Anyone need a Bible? Okay. Anybody? I think everybody has one. Thank you. Okay. If we wanted to call the Ten Commandments stop signs because they say don't do this or don't do that, stop doing this, stop doing that, then we can call these the go signs. That's when the red light turns green. Jesus gives us, at the Sermon on the Mount, the go sign. These are the things that he says we should do. One day as he saw the crowds gathering, Jesus went up on the mountainside and sat down. His disciples gathered around him, and he began to teach them. God blesses those who are poor and realize their need for him, for the kingdom of heaven is theirs. God blesses those who mourn, for they will be comforted. God blesses those who are humble, for they will inherit the whole earth. God blesses those. Amen. Amen. We have opportunity to choose. Every day when we get up, we make a choice. We choose the outer directed life, the other directed life, or the inner directed life. Now, to those people who have an ist at the end of their name, they have a tendency to think they know everything. We'll discover in a minute they left out the main thing. Psychologists, sociologists, they will tell us they have all the answers. Sociologists came up with this. Now, the first time I heard it, they split the two, outer and other, into two separate ones. They pretty much combined them now, but we're going to keep them separated. Let's see the definition for outer directed or the tradition directed life. Directed in thought and action by external norms conforming to the values and standards of one's group or society. The outgrowth of that is that we become materialistic. We'll get the other directed in a minute. It's much like it. But this is materialism. We see it. We want it. We must have it. Nothing else on this earth will do besides that one thing. And we didn't get the want from somebody else. It's just ours. It belongs to us only. The one who says that usually always says, I would be happy if only I had that article. If I had that, I would be happy and I wouldn't want anything else. The problem is, if your happiness depends on getting something, then your unhappiness depends on you losing something. If that's what makes you happy and somebody takes it from you, then they have control and power over you because all they have to do is take it from you and you go from a giddy person into a very sad and unhappy person because you lost the one item. Now, I know it's going to sound like I'm picking on guys in just a moment. How many of you have seen this picture? It's been on TV. Can you believe $315 for a pair of tennis shoes? Tennis shoes, $350. You can buy a good pair of boots for that. And you can wear the boots out in the pasture and in church. All you have to do is do a little cleaning and they'll fit in about $315 for a pair of tennis shoes. I remember when they were $2 a pair. I don't know whether they felt that good. They probably didn't look that good, but they kept your feet dry when you were walking on level ground. LeBron James, Nike, $300. I almost grabbed it. I did. I almost grabbed it. Let us follow two people into stores this morning. Let us follow ladies into a clothing store. And they say, I'd be happy only if. I'm not going to pick on the ladies anymore. Men, we're exactly the same way. We're not any different. We're not any better. When we walk into Cabela's, we're the same way, aren't we? And we say, you know, if I only had that scope to go on my rifle, I'd be the greatest hunter in the world. Or if I had that reel to put on my rod, I'd catch more fish than anybody in the country. I've spent a small fortune on photography equipment, thinking that if I get that, I'll be the greatest photographer on earth. You need a camera, you need a lens, and a flash. And you can be a photographer. All that other, honey, you can sell that when I die. That would, you do it. Back where I lived, there was a little town called Ink, Arkansas. And it was the custom then in many of those small towns for the farmers to gather around the old pot-bellied stove, say on Saturday afternoon, and they would tell their stories. They would tell that they wanted to do this. This day, though, they got started on what they wanted from life. One of them said he wanted a new pickup. Another one said, no, I want a new tractor. And the guy that came around to the last guy, and he said, if I want something, I go buy it. The preachers got very excited about hearing the pages of the Bible turn. Now we can hear the click, click of the digitizers also as they click James 4, and there's 4, and then they swipe their hand across, and everybody found it. Thank you, James 4:4. You adulterers. Ready? But as I looked at everything I had worked so hard to accomplish, it was all so meaningless, like chasing the wind. There was nothing really worthwhile anywhere. The most unhappy people I know are the ones that spent their life accumulating. They worked hard. They gave up time with family. They gave up time that they could have used recreating or visiting for God in order to make a few more dollars. And they get to near the end of life, and it is meaningless. It means nothing. If you have a house that keeps you warm and dry, that's all you need. A bigger, better, fancier house, that's okay if you can afford it. But they gave up everything in order to get it. Do not follow the teachings of those who say, if you will get this, you'll be happy. When we start following our own heart, there are 2 verses I want to share with you. So it's actually 2 different scriptures. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your 122. This is the strongest one in the Bible in my belief. Romans 1:22. I've known people like this. I've known people that bragged about how smart they were. I've known a lot of really smart people in my life. Whether they were in high school or college teachers or Sunday school teachers, there's a difference in being smart and being wise. Claiming to be wise. Claiming to be wise. They instead became utter fools. Be careful of anyone who starts telling you how smart they are. Because if they think they're smart, they're probably not very wise. There's a big difference. Okay, gentlemen, 34, please. This is the one that all those is people. Jesus replied, I am the bread of life. Luke 10, 26, 27, 28. Jesus replied, "What does the law of Moses say? How do you read it?" The man answered, "You must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your strength, and all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself." Right, Jesus told him. Do this, and you will live. I make plenty of mistakes. I can't count the number of mistakes. But I've never made